Well, you tell me which one of those is the story of the cook stoves. Yesterday, Hillary Clinton had a global cook stove plan. Here's how it works. Starting with $50 million, we send $50 million and some cook stoves over to Africa. They're clean, you know. Here it is. Cook stoves have been a long time part of the overall climate change. The whole agenda there, they've been cook stoves are the answer. This is just the first concrete step. You have to understand this is all part of globalizing the world. They're taking $50 million from your pocket and sending it over to Africa. That way, they save the planet and they redistribute the wealth all at the same time. Everyone wins, except for you. Now, there's a whole lot of people that think this story came out of the blue, came out of nowhere, but nothing comes out of nowhere. There's been a potential for profit for years. Fortune magazine has written about it. Quote, by any measure, it is a long way from the Park Avenue headquarters of J.P. Morgan Chase to the global investment bank that generated revenues of $100 billion last year to the dusty streets of Uganda, where a poor woman can now buy a new cook stove for about $6. What connects the big bank to the small transaction is the business of carbon trading. Smoke. You see, J.P. Morgan subsidizes the distribution of these new efficient cook stoves in poor countries. The stoves generate carbon credits because they save fuel and emit less carbon. In exchange for the subsidizing of the stoves, J.P. Morgan then gets carbon credits and sells the smoke, or the non-existent smoke that they didn't create, to people in companies who have actual smoke. The retail price of a stove is less than the amount of the money they get for the carbon credit. The retail price of a stove is less than the amount of the money they get for the carbon. The retail price of a stove is less than the amount of the money they get for the carbon credit. It's a complicated process, but basically it's a way to screw you and make a lot of money. It's a business model that Enron had. That's right. In fact, Enron seems a little more rock solid and tangible than this. Yeah. They're trading and selling air. And you know who's doing it? Well, we just have now. It's little people, you know, like you, that are on the road to recovery. J.P. Morgan Chase. Yeah. Oh, and Barclays. They're and Citigroup. Citigroup is into that. And then what road to recovery would be complete without Goldman Sachs, Merrill Lynch? Oh, and you know what's great? You know what's great? Those are the usual suspects that are part of the cook stove plan to get us on the road to recovery. But how about this one? Yes, Land Rover. Here's a section of a video from Land Rover. Watch, kids, it's great. There's the cook stove.
Traditionally, the cooking would have been done using inefficient charcoal stoves. Use of these stoves causes the release of up to 4 tons of CO2 per year. The Kampala project introduced new energy-efficient cooking stoves to the local community.
Nice little cooking stoves, isn't that great, Land Rover? Thank you so much. This is the way of the world. The elites have decided that the world is unsustainable. And so we've got to have cute little cooking stoves in our Land Rover and redistribute the wealth. And that way we'll be able to have a global system and everything will be on the road to recovery, not for Homer, but for these guys. You'll notice I said that we'll have global governance run by elites. I'm not an elite. Are you an elite? You don't really have a say. I don't have a say on this. I didn't even know about the stupid cook stove idea. Did you get a shot at that one? It's nice to think about, that all this global warming thing is about the planet and warm food for hungry Ugandans. But unfortunately, no. Screw the Ugandans, screw you. This is about Land Rover and Merrill Lynch and J.P. Morgan Chase and Citigroup and Goldman Sachs. That's what this is about. Those companies that are still in existence, they stand to make billions every year. The rich, and I don't mean the rich guy, who you work for at the factory that you see every day. Hey, Bill the rich millionaire. I don't mean that guy. I mean these guys, George Soros. Spooky dudes who are waiting over here by the cook stove. Yes, and I've got my minion, Al Gore, and we are going to make cook stoves for everybody. Well, not everybody, but we will have plenty of food for our cook stoves. People are writing our policy over cocktail parties, pushing the climate change, carbon trade garbage, and getting richer and richer and richer on whose money? Your dollars, yours. They're taking it through your tax dollars. You have nothing to do with it. We're buying cook stoves. The regular CEOs are all freaking out right now. Most of them voted for these clowns, but they're freaking out now because they can't keep the doors open. They know we're in trouble. But those are the regular CEOs, not the Soros-type players, the globalists. They've been preparing for this new world order for a long time. They helped create it. Look at how Al Gore has positioned himself. He has profited on the hysteria he created, increasing his personal wealth 50 to 100 times or more. Look, I got no problem. Anybody wants to be a capitalist, I got no problem on that. But while you're increasing the fortunes of the elites, they're also galvanizing their power and setting up global governance. And he's living in a mansion that is using 10 times the amount of electricity than you and I are supposed to use. Just don't be a hypocrite about it, Al.